I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the mistletoe. Tell me one thing, is there anything that you're missing? I will keep you warm as soon as you remove that snow. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. This Christmas I only want.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the All Things Good channel. It's Vlogmas, day 12. How are you all doing? We are halfway through. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, excuse the lighting, but I just wanted it cozy and comfy and all Christmas tree in here today. So today I'm actually going to do a Christmas Q&A, which I have been really looking forward to doing actually, because you've sent some amazing questions in, and thank you to everybody that has sent in a question. A lot of them were the same, so I will get through as many as I possibly can and hopefully cover practically everything that you have asked. I've got one of my Christmas jumpers on. Look, this is one of my Temu Christmas tops. I thought it's about time the Christmas tops came out, especially as we're doing a Q&A. So without further ado, let's get into it. And I'm going to start with a question that I think was possibly the most difficult question to think about the answer for. And I think I've got two answers for it. But it was a really, really emotional question. So I thought, let's do this one first, because this really hit a spot and I really had to think about it. And it comes from Katie. And Katie asks, if I could go back in time to a certain Christmas, what year would it be and why? And that one really got me thinking, And I think there's two answers, because there's one Christmas that really stands out from when I was a child, and another Christmas that is very close to my heart for an emotional reason. So the first answer would be, and I can't remember what year it was, but it must have been around 1980 to 82. It was either the Christmas of 80 or Christmas of 81, maybe. So I would have been about 5 or 6 years old, and I got for Christmas, and I didn't know I was getting it, but I got a little record player. And it was a little battery operated record player, but it would play 45s and 33s. Wouldn't play 78s. I know I'm old, not quite that old. 33s and 45s. I'm talking about vinyl, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know and isn't as old as me. Vinyl records. The things we had before downloads, the things we had before CDs, the things we had before cassettes. Yes, I am that old. So yeah, and I had this record player. And my sister had already got a record player. Bearing in mind, my sister was 9 years older than me. So, you know, she was having teenagey things. But I'd loved her record player. So I got my own little record player. But my dad had bought me ABBA's latest album. I think it was Super Trooper. So that might help you work out what year it was. I think it might have been 80, because I think Super Trooper came out in 79. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was either 80 or 81 that Christmas. And I had the album, which I always loved vinyl albums anyway, because I loved the size of them, because I loved the pictures and all the booklet you get inside. And when we got cassettes, I used to then go out and buy the vinyl and the cassette, because I wanted the pictures big. Is that just me, or is that what we all did? But I will never forget opening that present and just thinking, wow, how did Father Christmas know that I was going to absolutely love this? And it was from that moment onwards that I fell in love with music. And falling in love with music then made me fall in love with films and musical theatre, and has sort of put me in the direction I went in for the rest of my life. And I will never, ever, ever forget that Christmas day. And I'll never forget opening it. I can remember what room I was in. I remember the paper. I remember what I was wearing. It's that vivid. So that would be one I would definitely go back to. If I could sort of watch myself in time, looking back on a Christmas day, that would be one. And the other one is quite emotional, because the other one would be the last Christmas I had with my sister. So December 2012. Yes, it was Christmas 2012. And little did we know, but my sister kept it to herself because she didn't want to tell anybody and ruin Christmas. But she'd found out only a week before that that would be her last Christmas. And she'd got somewhere between 2 and 6 months to live. Obviously, none of us knew that. We knew she was very poorly, but we didn't know that. And that Christmas day, I remember just spending so much time with her. And she loved it. She laughed so loudly. She ate amazingly well. I cooked for about 12 of us, I think, that day. And she was just piling it on. She was going, give me more. I love that. I want some more of that. I'm loving it. And then throughout the day, I'd say, you having a nice day, Sarah? And she'd go, I'm having a magnificent day. I'm having a wonderful time. She looked incredibly happy. And if I could go back in time, I would do that Christmas day again, with the knowledge that it would be her last Christmas, and I would go all out with everything, presents and all sorts of things. Anyway, it's rather a sad story, but it's the truth. That is one that I would go back to. And for those of you who don't know me and don't know the story of Sarah, you might want to look back on my previous videos, but actually she didn't live very long after that. She passed away in the February. So, but she got married in between the Christmas and the February. She got married in the January. But I would definitely go back to that Christmas and do it again and have just a complete blowout with her, really. So thank you, Katie, for that question that is incredibly emotional. So we've got that one out the way. Right, let's look for another one. Let's see. Right. Oh, this is another one that kind of relates to my sister as well. Oh, okay. I don't know who this is from. Sorry, I've cut the name off, so apologies. But thank you to whoever this is from. Who out of you and your sister, when you were little, got up first on Christmas morning? Well, that was me. That was always me. Because like I say, Sarah was 9 years older than me. So she was practically a teenager as I was getting into that whole proper enjoying Christmas. And I would bang on her door and her bedroom door, and I'd go in, I'd be going, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. And then she was like, what? And she wouldn't get up, and I wouldn't go downstairs without her. I absolutely would not go down the stairs without her. But what Father Christmas used to do was leave a couple of things at the bottom of the stairs, and then everything else was in the lounge under the tree. And all I had to do was stand at the top of the stairs and look down the stairs. And if I could see something at the bottom, I knew he'd been. And so it was the same routine, and every year, and I'd go into her room, she wouldn't get up. I'd go and stand at the top of the stairs. Oh my goodness, he's been. And then I'd go back into her room. I'd go, Sarah, Sarah, he's been. And as soon as I said that, she'd get up out of bed and we'd go downstairs together. And then we were quickly followed by Mum and Dad. So yes, it was always me that got up first, but probably because I was a lot younger than Sarah. So thank you for that question. Right, this one is from someone called It's Just Neat 2023. Thank you very much. And their question is, if you could unwrap one superpower at Christmas, what would it be and why? A superpower. Wow, I think invisibility, because I could go and have a sleep and nobody'd know. No, I think invisibility, because I would then sneak into somewhere like Buckingham Palace or somewhere really grand, so I could go and look at what presents they'd got and what food they were eating and just be really, really nosy. And I'd just sort of peek about, sneak about, do you know what I mean? So yes, invisibility, thank you for that question. Right, let's go to another one. This is from Catherine Grace, and Catherine asks, what is your favourite Christmas treat? Mine is gingerbread cake. Oh, I love gingerbread cake. I love anything with gingerbread in, quite frankly. What is my favourite Christmas treat? Oh, a cheese board. A cheese board, because I do love cheese. But I don't buy lots of different cheeses throughout the year. I don't have a cheese board any other part of the year, I don't think. I suppose I would if I was having a party or a buffet for some reason. But no, Christmas is the time I go all out on cheeses, and it's quite easy as well, isn't it? And I have a cheese board on a Christmas Eve, perhaps for lunch or something. You know, if you've got a lot of cooking to do on Christmas Day, it keeps it simple. But that's a real treat for me, because it is a moment on the lips and a lifetime on the hips. But it's Christmas, so I don't really care at Christmas. But yeah, some really lovely cheeses is my Christmas treat, definitely. Thank you for that. What else have we got? Okay, right. This one was actually one that quite a few people asked, surprisingly, because I thought this was a really good question and not really a particularly obvious one. But for those of you that know I've got cats, and you're probably pet lovers yourself, you've got cats or dogs, but quite a few people have asked me, do the cats climb the tree? They don't. Fortunately, I'm very lucky. I'm now down to 2 cats. I lost Lenny earlier in the year. So I've got Albert and Mila. And Albert is quite an old boy now. He's nearly 11. And Mila is 1.5-ish, something like that. And neither of them have taken the slightest bit of notice with the Christmas tree, which is great. But it's also probably because now I've got my fir tree scented drops. I do scent the tree, and they probably don't like that. So that probably helps. But I did have a cat some years ago. Let's see how long. Oh my goodness, probably talking 20 years ago. Yeah, about 20 years ago, I had a cat called Sammy, and he was a nightmare. As soon as you put the tree up, as soon as you leave the room, he'd be in it. He'd be in it, and you'd see him sitting somewhere right inside or at the back. And I think the first year I had him when he was quite young, that tree got redecorated about 6 times, because I'd come down in the morning and be on the floor. So I have had a cat that does that, and it is particularly annoying. But no, my cats of present time don't do that. But that's a really good question. I really like that. What are your favourite foods at Christmas? That was something that a lot of people asked as well. Well, I think I'm very traditional when it comes to Christmas, very traditional. We always have a family turkey Christmas dinner, and I sometimes do another meat as well on Christmas Day. So we might have beef or gammon, but we always do have a turkey. My son is vegetarian, so I always do either a turkey equivalent. I think I did that last year. It was quite tasty. Or I might do him a nut roast, and then he has all the bits and pieces to go with it. But generally, very traditional food. I used to love Christmas cake, and actually I do still quite like Christmas cake, but unfortunately it doesn't like me. So I don't eat that anymore, and I don't like mince pies. I do have Christmas pudding sometimes on Christmas Day. Not a huge fan, but I will have just a little bit because it's traditional, and we are very, very traditional at Christmas. So yes, favourite food at Christmas. Favourite food at Christmas, I think, is the main deal, is the main meal. Although really, you know, some people might say, well, it's nothing more than a glorified roast Sunday dinner. I love that. I think it's great. But yes, I'm very traditional at Christmas, and I love all the trimmings, everything. I even love sprouts. Love sprouts. I know a lot of people don't. I love them. People might not like me the next day particularly, but I love them. So that's the food bit. Okay, this is a really good question. Again, in a slightly different format. This came through from 2 or 3 people, but obviously I have quite a theatrical and musical background. And a few of you have asked, have I ever appeared in theatre or panto during the Christmas period? The answer to that is yes, I have. Long time ago, I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And where did we do that? Was it Derby or Nottingham? Oh my goodness. It was some years ago. But yes, it was the Christmas season, but it wasn't a panto version. It was actually the musical version of The Wizard of Oz on stage. And I was Dorothy, but I was understudy Dorothy. So I didn't have to do every day, every night. But actually, Dorothy did get sick during Christmas. So I did about 8 performances. But all in all, I think there was about 30 of them, maybe 40. It was quite a long run, but loved it. And I don't have any film of it to show you or to prove it to you, fortunately. No, it was good. It was lovely. It was an amazing production. And we had the cutest dog that played Toto, so well trained. It was gorgeous, even sat in the little basket with no problem. Anyway, it was great. Hard work, but great. The difficulty, I think, with being in the theatre and panto over Christmas, especially if you are very family orientated like me and like a very traditional Christmas, fingers crossed you get Christmas Day off, but you are working all the time and you are away from the family. So tricky, but at the time I did it, I was young enough and it was pre-children. So it was a lot of fun. So yes, I have done theatre over Christmas. Another one that was put through by quite a few people is, what is my favourite Christmas film? I'm not sure I really do have an answer to that one because there are so many. My favourite Christmas film. I think one of them has got to be Disney's A Christmas Carol. So the semi-animated version with Jim Carrey. I watch that every year and it's kind of sentimental because I used to get my 2 to watch it when they were younger. And it's just become a bit of a tradition to watch Disney's A Christmas Carol as we go into the festive season. So I love that. If I ever get 5 minutes to myself, I like to get oldie worldy and watch A Wonderful Life. I love that, but I don't really know anybody else that does like it, to be honest, because it's quite long. And I suppose there's parts of it that is quite sad and quite depressing. And it's not until the end bit, the last 20 minutes, that you get all the sort of meeting the angel and everything turning out okay. And it's obviously a very, very old film. But if I've got a bit of time to myself and I just want to get all Christmassy, I do like to sit and watch A Wonderful Life. I love Elf. That makes me laugh. But actually, I'm often quite busy over Christmas, so finding the time to sit down and watch a film is near gone impossible. But I'm going to make sure I do this year. I'm going to sit down and watch lots and lots of films. But yeah, I have a few favourites really, so it's a mixture. And some people have asked, do I have a favourite Christmas song? Well, I think now, actually this year, obviously, the lead singer of the Pogues has just died. And that Fairy Tale in New York, I loved that. And that's being played a lot at the moment because he's just passed away. So I do love that. My favourite Christmas song, I like some of the songs that have been done a million times over, but I like them done by certain artists. So let's have a think. So like White Christmas, I mean, lots of people like the Bing Crosby version. I like the Elvis Presley version that was redone with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. I love that. I love Elvis Presley doing Merry Merry Christmas Baby because that's kind of rocky, very rock and roll. And what else do I like? Oh, I love George Michael, Last Christmas. I like lots of Christmas songs, actually. That's quite a difficult question when you think about it. You wouldn't think it would be, but Yeah, love Last Christmas, but I generally like all music, so there's probably not a Christmas song I don't like. Well, I suppose being from Birmingham, Slade. So here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. Look to the future now, it's only just begun. So yeah, there's lots of Christmas songs that I love, lots and lots. Another question is, do we have any family traditions? Well, I think we used to. I think, well, my family dynamic has changed considerably over the years. I think it does for most people, doesn't it, at some point or another, but mine has changed quite dramatically. The tradition we would have, which I suppose most people have, would be set days at certain people's houses, but it was always the same every year, those set days. So Christmas Day was always at home, Mum, Dad and sister Sarah and Kat. Boxing Day would be to my grandmother's house, but she would be catering for us and cousins and my other aunts and uncles as well, so it would be a bit more of a party. The day after Boxing Day would be those same cousins and Granny and that same crowd, but in the cousin's house. And then the day after that, that would be generally my dad's family. And the day after that would then see my mum's family in one of my auntie's houses. Now, my mum had a much bigger family than my dad, because my dad was an only child. My mum was one of 6. So I had lots of aunts and uncles, hundreds of cousins. So we always had to go to Auntie Eileen's house because she got the biggest house to fit everybody in. Then we'd have a couple of days off, or a day off, couple of days off. And then New Year's Day, Mum would do a party for everybody, all of those people, Mum and Dad's family, at her house. So it was always the same group of people, predominantly, but in each other's houses. But it was always the same day every year. So we knew what we were doing. Boxing Day, the 27th, the 28th, we'd have the 29th and 30th to ourselves, probably New Year's Eve to ourselves, and then Mum's. So that was a tradition, if you like. But I don't think we had any other traditions. Mum would always want to go to church. We always went to church. Many, many years we went to midnight mass on a Christmas Eve, but I think that was as me and Sarah got older. When I was a little girl, we'd go on Christmas morning, but I'd always take 1 or 2 of my presents with me, you know, if it was a doll or what have you, to church, because I'd only just opened them and I didn't want to leave them. I didn't really want to go to church, to be honest. But we did, and then it was a rush to get home, and then it was a mad rush for Mum to get the dinner on. So that was a tradition. We did go to church. No other traditions particularly. My grandmother did a bit. She would, she'd always make me do her tree, put her tree up. She had an artificial tree. So a tradition with her was I'd always spend a day with her, just me and her, doing her Christmas decorations. And she used to have a little robin, like an ornament more than a decoration. It wasn't a tree decoration. You could have hung it on a tree if you'd put, you know, a hanger on it, some string or something, but it was more like a little decoration. But it was like a proper little robin, furry thing, a bit like a stuffed robin, I suppose you could say. And she'd always say, hide him somewhere, put him somewhere, and then she'd have to look for him in her house. So sometimes I'd put him right in the middle of the tree, but sometimes I'd put him behind a plant pot, or we'd just have like a little game. And again, that was when I was a little girl. So that was a bit of a tradition with Granny. And I suppose the only other tradition would be the food. And my mom would always make the most amazing sherry trifle. Now, you know Nancy, she likes a drink. She's always liked a little drink. But her sherry trifle was more sherry than trifle. And you could actually feel a little bit tipsy after one of Mum's trifles. But she would make the biggest trifle in the world for her party on New Year's Day. So that was a definite tradition of Mum's, her get you very drunk trifle. Get you very trifled trifle. So that was definitely a tradition. And I can't think of any other traditions, But yeah, thank you so much for those questions. That's been fun thinking about those. And I think what I need to do is have a hot chocolate, really, because that hot chocolate station has just been sitting there and none of us have actually had a hot chocolate yet, and it's the 12th of December. And that's just shows you how busy I am, because I keep thinking, I'll have a hot chocolate, I haven't got time to make one, I'll just quickly make myself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. We need to get ourselves stuck in to that hot chocolate station, so I think I might go and do that actually. But we also need to open the advent calendar today, day 12, my lovely advent calendar. So where are we? Day 12. Got it. Oh, right. It is another charm today, but it's not gold and it's not rose gold. It's silver. We have moved on to the silver stuff, and it's lovely because it's like a star. It's like a Christmas star. See if I can show you, and you might not be able to see it very well in this light. You can just look at that. That's lovely. Little Christmas star. And so far, I've got all the charms going, look. So this will be really nice now to start getting some other colour in it, silver and gold. But I have decided not to wear it until I've got all the charms, because I'm going to put them in a different order when I've got them all. But I think it's going to look very, very pretty when it is finished. And we haven't really got that long to go, have we? As I say, we are halfway through Vlogmas. Can't believe it. So that's it for today, our little Q&A session. Hope you have enjoyed today's Vlogmas, and I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas all round, really, as much as I am, because it is like a little visual advent calendar, isn't it? Which I think is really nice, and I'm really enjoying watching other people's Vlogmas channels as well. I'm really enjoying, well, as you know, last year I did a collaboration with Tony Interior, and Tony's not really doing officially Vlogmas this year because she's just moved house. If any of you watch Tony's channel, you'll know. And if you don't, do have a look because she's amazing. But we did a collaboration last year, and that was so much fun. But she's just doing as and when videos throughout December because she's amazingly busy renovating a new property. But I do love watching Tony's videos, and I normally particularly love her Vlogmas. And I'm enjoying Tiffany Thinks. She's a young girl that is in remission from bowel cancer at the moment, and I've basically followed her cancer journey, and because it was very close to what happened to Sarah, my sister. So that was somebody I picked up on a couple of years ago, and I followed her journey, but she does Vlogmas. And there's been a couple of American channels as well that I've been watching recently. So I really enjoy Vlogmas, and I hope you do as well. And I hope you're enjoying this channel. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you can, because we've got giveaways as well, as you already know, which I shall mention again in detail a little bit closer to Christmas Eve. And I shall let you know what the Vlogmas prize is going to be. And then when we're a bit closer to the 2,000 subscriber mark, I'll let you know what that giveaway is going to be. But that might not happen throughout December. It might not happen throughout January. It might not happen at all. It'd be lovely if it did. But we are getting new subscribers every day. So thank you very much indeed. And if you are new, welcome. It's lovely that you've joined our lovely little All Things Good community, because everybody's so lovely here and we help each other out so much. It's great fun. So until tomorrow, stay safe, stay in the boat and keep doing all things good. And I shall be back tomorrow. Have a lovely day, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.